Hey there, welcome back to another session of Three Ball Walk. Eddie,
how you doing?
Bob, Julio, here to talk baseball to you for 30 minutes, split up into two 15-minute segments.
Yeah, because that's the way YouTube likes it.
That's what you said. First show we did 30 minutes.
YouTube did not like that.
We didn't get the rest in between here.
But they have lots of programs on YouTube that are over half an hour.
I don't know. It's just there's some way that you record it.
Are they sticking a commercial in between? Do we have a sponsor?
We do not have a sponsor, but we have product placement today. Chick-fil-A had great lunch there. Godly chicken. There you go.
There you have it. There you have it. So, trade deadline. Today is, in our world, it is July 27th.
Correct. It will be in their world. It's July 27th too.
Right. Is it? It's getting up that quick today.
Well, it's going to have to be today because I'll be going to Austin, Texas tomorrow morning. So.
Sounds like a good thing. And so, what's happening this weekend?
Well, I think the big news, of course, everybody's talking about Mr. Chapman leaving the Yankees. Of course, that was to the Cubs. I know the Nationals want him and a couple other teams, but there are a lot of guys out there being talked about, and I think one of the biggest ones right now, Chris Sale, possibly.
Someone going into Chicago, someone possibly going out of Chicago.
Chris Sale's not leaving Chicago.
I don't see. I from a baseball perspective, I totally see that.
He's not leaving Chicago. There's no way. If you're the Chicago front office, that will be the dumbest trade you ever made unless you get 5 Hall of Famers for him.
You think he's that good?
He's only got $21 million left on his contract. Who else can you get for $21 million over the next 4 years?
Oh, I agree.
There's that, and he's the best left-hander in the American League.
No doubt. I mean, it might be a head case, and he might not have wanted to wear the uniforms with the collars, but according to everybody else, he's a good guy in the clubhouse. He just doesn't like the management.
But the whole thing is...
Well, but the thing is, who's he work for? Who's he doing? The
fans, obviously, he played for the fans. I mean, they pay him the salary, yes, but the people...
But the front office, I mean, part of it was he was suspended for product unbecoming, not following team rules, and insubordination. He had it out with the vice president of marketing. And the front office has to get along with them. And I mean, I've worked in those front offices before. It's tough. You know, for you send the intern down because you've got a fundraiser coming up, and I need 3 Chris Sale signed autographs to donate for a silent auction, and the kid's like, I'm not going to go talk to Chris Sale and get an autograph. I mean, you got to understand.
But I'm not sure that's
the baseball business.
But I'm not sure that that's the way he is.
He's great. Just keep him away from the scissors. Other than that, you're fine.
All the time. I don't think. There's been no others. I mean, maybe there are, and no one knows about them. Maybe
they went off on management last year. Remember, with the general manager and.
But that they deserved that, and in part they deserved that. This one
criticizing a team's baseball move and I want some. You need to build around me, or if you can't get trades to make the team, then I want to be traded. But players don't know the business. The business side of it is what drives it. The sponsorships, the fans, the ticket sales, the promotions, all that. And if you don't get it,
but do you really think that his not wanting to wear the uniform, which I have a card from one of my friends, Brett Burns, who played on that team with the logos, with the wide collars, I call them the beer league softball.
That wasn't the year they wore the shorts.
Yes, same thing, same period of time.
In the center, somebody had a picture of Ralph Garl on there
with shorts.
Yeah.
Same, kind of beer league softball uniform.
Was that a Vec?
Yes, those are Bill Vec. But even so, okay, you really think that no one's going to sponsor that team because someone was going to sponsor the throwback to the ugliest uniforms in the history of baseball?
Nothing to do with the sponsorships. The ability of the management to know that they're getting support from their players to do these promotions. You know, I've got him scheduled to go speak at a school to kids about drugs, and then I find out the minute before that he's got to start tomorrow and he doesn't want to go to a school today all of a sudden because...
Yeah, but he doesn't do that. I mean, apparently that's not who he is.
I don't. It's scary. It would not shock me if they trade him. From a baseball perspective, you're absolutely right.
That would be I'm telling you right now. If you're watching this in the White Sox front office, swallow your pride.
They're watching. Most front offices,
Yeah,
I'm sure they are.
3-ball walk.
Go make up with Chris Sale, because you're not going to find another pitcher that's as good as him, and you got him for 4 years at a little over $5 million per year. Are you kidding me?
Right.
That guy deserves a new contract, and maybe that's what he's pushing for. Is he's thinking, if I'm just a jerk enough,
they will trade me
and I'll get a new contract from the new team.
But maybe he will get a new contract for a different new team, because he obviously has some kind of mental problem. And Chris, I'm sorry if you're watching this, but you don't just go cut. If he just damaged his uniform, okay. But you look at the whole team's uniforms up. I mean, come on.
I mean, you make movies about guys.
Exactly right.
That's
It's like, you know,
with scissors.
it was scissors.
Right, but he didn't cut anybody. He just cut up
They're
some ugly uniforms.
Ugly uniforms. I'm with you. But the Dodgers are talking about possibly picking him up.
Heck yeah.
You know, they're trading their rookie pitcher, Urias, who everybody thought was going to be the next Kershaw.
The Japanese.
He's Latin American, right? Urias?
Urias,
Yeah. But they're talking about trading him. You look at the guys like James Shields might be.
Could you imagine Chris Sale and Yasiel Puig on the same
team?
Can
Talk
you,
about head
can you
cases.
imagine Sale and Kershaw as your 1-2 pitchers?
Well, is Kershaw going to be back?
Even so, next year.
Right.
I'll tell you, which leads us to the baseball side of it. Now, well, we'll talk about that later, about how the Giants are letting the Kershawless Dodgers back into
Well,
the.
the Dodgers they're not letting them. I mean, the Dodgers gone 16-8 since Kershaw went down.
Well, the Giants going 1-8 since the All-Star break doesn't help.
Well, that doesn't help, but yeah. But I mean,
Do you see
16-8.
do you see the Rays trading Chris Archer or Matt Moore?
They didn't.
No,
He pitched last night.
Right, I know.
Archer
But do you
pitched last
see
night.
the next 5 days? I mean, the talk was Archer all last week, and up until last thing I read,
The
Chris
Ra-
Archer moving.
The Rays are.
They
It's
should.
a sad franchise.
It is.
They should.
And they lost their best, and I guess
Commodity.
you can't call them. They lost their best commodity with
Yeah,
Joe Madden.
Joe Madden.
And without Joe Madden,
Yeah, I mean,
they can't. There's nothing. That team and what they put together on the field, there's no way that can win.
But do you
unless-
think? Okay, now you say that was Joe Madden, and he's obviously in Chicago, and they have the best team in the National League. Do you think Chapman makes them a lock to go to the World Series?
nobody's a lock
No,
to go to the World Series. I mean,
You're a lock to win the division.
Yeah.
I remember, and it's interesting because baseball, and just on a side note, which with Golden State losing in the
Finals.
in the finals to
Yeah.
to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and having the best record in the history, they displaced the Bulls, who had the best record in the history, who had won the NBA title. And the Bulls at that time are the only team in the four major sports that had the best season record and had
won
won
the
a title.
championship, right.
Now, with the Golden State joining that, none of them. I mean, the Patriots that lost to the Giants,
Right, the helmet catch.
the Bruins that had the best record, the Seattle Mariners from 2001 who won 120 games, and now Golden State. And the reason I'm going into this is you can guarantee you're going to have a good team and you can make the playoffs.
Yeah, ask Atlanta.
Ask Atlanta.
well, you can't
However,
I don't know that you can guarantee, but you can give yourself the best chance. Because if you get three guys
the
hurt,
cream rises to, correct.
if you get three,
right,
But
barring
162,
barring injuries,
162 games, the
It's a
cream
marathon.
rises to the
barring
top.
injuries,
But the best team does not
Always win.
always win. That's why wild card teams win. That's why and you want it's whoever has that whoever gets hot in October as opposed to get hot in September. So to answer your question,
Right.
I think that'll get them into the playoffs.
Right.
But then
how can they not get in the playoffs?
And I'm talking about injury. I mean, Prince Fielder now is gone for the year for the Rangers. Do they make a move to get a bat? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Jay Bruce, they're talking about Cincinnati trading Jay Bruce, which since his injury, he hasn't been the same player since he came back.
No.
But do they move him? I'm surprised. Seriously, and I talked to Julio about this earlier. I'm surprised that Turhan from the Braves hasn't been moved or talked about moving really, because you don't hear much about him at all.
No, you don't. That is surprising. I'm surprised that somebody's not coming looking for him. But maybe the Braves are wanting too much for him behind the scenes. Maybe they're asking for Chris Sale's kind of trades, and everybody else is going, son, you ain't Chris Sale.
He's pretty good. I mean, he's pretty good. I like him.
is Aroldis Chapman worth your top 2 prospects.
Yes.
And in
As a
my
rental.
opinion, yes.
Yes.
As a rental for
Yeah.
because
Yes.
especially, let me rephrase that. To a team that hasn't won a World Series in over 100 years.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, you got
And that's why.
You got to go all in if you
You have
have
a
it.
shot this year. You have a chance to make it. You probably your best chance. And
Now, if
At
you're
least our
if you're the
lifetime.
Yankees that want to get younger, is that a great move for them?
Absolutely. That's a great move for both teams.
that was one of the best trades on both
which
sides.
isn't that what trades are supposed to be? Aren't trades supposed to help both teams? Help one team that's looking to get younger and one team that's looking to win right now.
As a GM, you're looking to do the best for your team, and that's what he's looking for. So you're not making a trade unless, well, this will be lopsided for them, but I'm going to make no. And you're absolutely right. That's what you want, and this one couldn't have helped either of the 2 teams any
And
better.
you talk about team want to get younger, the Yankees. I read a few days ago, I can't remember if it was Bleacher Report or the TradeRumor.com, but the Yankees possibly outright releasing A-Rod and Teixeira before the trading deadline, before the season's over. Just getting rid of them. And I know Teixeira's at the end of his contract. They still have A-Rod, one more year for A-Rod.
So another 25 mil
25 mil for A-Rod, but just buy.
guaranteed.
And Beltran being
right.
traded.
Yeah, they're going to, but they got to pay him.
His
Yeah.
money's guaranteed. A-Rod's money on the back
yeah,
end of
yeah.
that's guaranteed.
It's all guaranteed.
Oh,
In
all-
baseball, it's
Yeah.
all long-term contracts in football are completely meaningless.
Yes,
It's all completely.
but in baseball, it's
In
all
baseball,
guaranteed.
you're guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Even if you're not
Sign
playing
baseball,
anymore.
even if you're not playing.
So that's a dumb move on.
I
any
just saw
GM.
July 1. I was actually reading July 1 to Mets fans is Bobby Bonilla Day.
It's the last day they have to pay Bobby Bonilla.
No, it is the day every year they need to write him a check for $1.3 million up until the year 2045. Because
2045.
they signed, I want to say it was like 40 years, 30 years to sign him out of the 20-something million or 15 million that they still owed him. They wind up saying, we will pay you on July 1st every year, and Bobby's agent worked it out. And they released him, and they didn't have to pay him the rest of his contract, but every July 1, $1.3 million.
That's not a bad
reti-
gig. That's a good retirement plan. If I could get that, I'd retire tomorrow.
But that's how the Mets
you could
got.
release me for that amount.
That's
I
how the
guarantee
Mets
it.
got out of the Bobby Bonilla contract.
But they didn't really get out of it. They just extended the payment long term.
Correct. But it was funny because
What
I
happens
was
if the
reading.
Mets fold, or the Mets are sold? Does he not get paid then? Is that,
It's-
or is it like Publishers Clearinghouse? He gets it for life, no matter who has the franchise. I mean,
Oh, I'm sure. No, it's a contract. I mean, players aren't traded; their contracts are,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's
Yeah.
what And a lot of times, so if you buy the Mets and it's a new ownership group, you assume all the contracts that team has pending.
Wow.
with them. But yeah, but it was funny because it had, and I thought it was kind of weird, and I knew the deal and whatever. I didn't know what the terms were. But on July 1, I'm reading the front cover of MLB.com had Bobby Bonilla Day for the Mets, and I started reading it. And it's like every July 1, that's how they view it.
I know we're winding down real quick, so as we wind down to the next Monday, when we won't be on until next Wednesday, what teams do you see actually making a move? The Nationals need bullpen help. The Yankees, if they want arm and leg for Andrew Miller. Do you think, what teams do you see actually going out and making a move?
I was actually listening today and last night about the Marlins getting starting pitching, which is kind of, I think that's so funny that the Marlins are buying.
They're buying.
But Chen just went on the DL. They've got a bunt. They actually called up a kid who wound up throwing a 3-hit shutout for 6 innings or something like that to start a game. They need another starting pitcher.
Yep.
Well, so
And that
let's
wouldn't
con-
shock me if they do something like
Let's
that.
continue that on the backside of the break. It'll be probably, truthfully, it might be Monday before this gets up. The second part of the series, since I'll be Tuesday before it gets up. So the trade deadline will come before you see what we talk about next. Maybe we'll get it up, but if you get a chance to watch some baseball, it's going to be an interesting week. Get a chance to go out and play. By all means, do help a
Play
kid.
ball.
Play ball.